Hello everyone, emmy-lou here. Today I want to show you how to do a London silhouette landscape. I think it's going to look really cool. I did a smaller version of it in one of my lessons. It was just like a practice thing and I just thought, ooh, let's do a really big one. So all you're going to need is black paint, any paint you like, and chalk pastels would be good, but you could use watercolour pencils, you could use oil pastels, it's okay. So, or even felts actually, felt tips. So all we're going to do is it's landscape the paper and there's a pencil, and make sure you like this video and subscribe, and I will start now. So we're going to draw a circle and we want to take up most of the paper. It's quite tricky to draw a circle, which might sound a bit strange, but to get a circle, I tend to go round it more than once because we're going to cut this out. We don't have to cut this out, but it's kind of cool to cut out. Okay, so there's roughly my circle, and can you see that it's kind of touching the top and the bottom? If you wanted it to be, if you wanted it to touch all sides, you could have a square. So you could have a square piece of paper and then do the circle. Then we're going to start to draw the building. So first off, we're going to do Big Ben. Now remember, it's a silhouette, so you won't see all the detail, but I do want to add a little bit of detail in. So first of all, I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do St. Paul's first. So we're just going to go. So it's just a dome. So just do a dome shape and do it about there. I sketched it all out beforehand just so I can see where it's all being placed because I'm drawing from the side. So we want a dome, and then in the middle of the dome, on the top, we want to do, it's like a square or a rectangle, but it's roughly that. And then inside there on top, we're going to do a smaller one. So it's a little bit like Lego really, isn't it, when you're kind of building up layers. And then you want to do, got to make sure it's not wonky, my one. Then you want to do a little dome, like a baby dome on top of that. So it's like a little dome. And then you're going to do a great big line. It's quite a long one, that one, isn't it? And then you're going to do a circle in the middle of that line. Then you're going to do a cross. So can you see that? Do not worry about what's sort of inside it because we won't see it because it's going to be black. It's going to be a silhouette against the night sky. And then here, you want to do a little line there, little line there. Then you want to go down, down, and then you're going to go out and then down, and then out, and then you can go down, but you won't see that bit. So that's St. Paul's Cathedral. Then we're going to do Big Ben next to it. So this is really easy. We're just going to go, make sure I don't do it wobbly. You want a line and then you're going to go down. If it helps, you could literally draw over the silhouette. So this is the rectangle of Big Ben. And then we're going to do a bit of a bigger rectangle inside. So we're going to go one. It's going to be like that almost. Just a little bit. Can you see it's like a square? And then we're going to go, I've got a bit of a runny nose today. I got hay fever. So now we're going to do a clock inside. We don't really need to do the clock because you won't see it in the silhouette, but I'm going to make it look like the moonlight shining on it. So if you like, you can set the time. There we are, just something simple. And then what we're going to do is inside, 2 little lines up like that, and then across, and then you want to go almost like you're creating like a rectangle, like a roof of a house. And then we're going to go across, and then you're going to draw a rectangle on top like that. Then you're going to go all the way there. So it reminds me of a carrot, and I don't know why, but it's like upside down ice cream cone in a way as well. And then just here, because we want to continue the line all the way across, just do like a triangle-y bit. So then you'll see all the different buildings. Now, my exciting one, I like the Gherkin building. just because it looks really cool. So we're going to start about there. So you're going to go, whoa. Make sure you go all the way down to that circle. So just all the way down. I'm going to just do this. I don't really need to because it's going to be black, but I might create some windows, I'm not sure. I may do this as well, but I don't really need to. I think it's just a habit. I like putting detail. So you can do detail. You don't have to do the silhouette, but I quite like the silhouette. Now next to the gherkin, nothing is in proportion. We're just doing a skyline. So we recognise that it's London, so it's very iconic, these buildings. So we've got iconics well known, famous if you like, infamous. So you've got Big Ben, St Paul's Cathedral, the Gherkin building, and then you've got the Shard, you know, that really tall building. So we're going to just go, can you see a M at the top almost? So I've done an M. It's not really an M, something like that, but just roughly like that. And then next is my favourite one. I absolutely love doing this one. Now, it's the London Eye, but we have to do it so it looks really round. And the great thing about this is, let's draw a circle. So we're going to go, and it doesn't matter if we go into the gherkin. I think in real life it's not next to the gherkin, but that's fine. Now what this does is it gives you a really good circle, and you're gonna cut it out anyway, so you won't see any of this. But you'll get a perfect circle. Well, perfect-ish. Doesn't really matter. As long as it's circular there. Then find the middle of that circle. So let's say it's there. And then to hold the London Eye up, you have, so whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you draw out of this circle, it's fine. And then what we're going to do is around, whoa, it's like a donut, and you've got like a little inner bit of the donut, and then you're going to go crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. Doesn't matter if you go over the gherkin, like I said. As long as whatever's in that circle bit is really well drawn, then you should be fine. Now we've got what I like to think of as donuts. They look like donuts. So you're going to have a catch-all there, there. Now I might do one there, but you won't obviously see it all. I might even do one down there. Then you've got the really, really thin wires of the London Eye, but it's still nice to put in. So you could perhaps draw those in. We won't need to paint them necessarily. If you've got a black pen, like a felt tip, or we could just draw those in. Right, that's my London scene. Now what we want to do, what I really like is, if you have a look at this one, I've just done purple for the sky and pink. So it's like purple and pink. I love the idea of doing, I think I might do like a blue. A blue. Love blue. So I'm going to get chalks, but it doesn't matter what you use. I'm going to get 2 different blues. Can you see that? And I'm going to start off with, and it doesn't have to be in any particular order. I might just do that stock blue. I'm holding them from the side, like they're lying down, because it helps. A bit of blue there. Now, if you prefer, if you're worried about losing your pencil line, you could just go over it with felt tip. Then, when you do the sky, you don't have to be so worried. So what I mean by that is, I can do purple here and go over the buildings, but I can still see the buildings, so it doesn't matter. So I love this colour. I'm just choosing any colours I like. So I'd like you to figure out what colours you think would look great. Because it doesn't actually matter what colours you use, as long as you like the colours. I'm trying to think what other colour I need. As long as they look bright, it's quite nice. I quite like to finish off all the coloury bits there. I like to finish off all the what do you call it? all of the silhouettes. Near the silhouettes, it's nice to have a yellow or something. So I might just do a bright yellow. And like I say, it doesn't matter if you go over. It doesn't matter if you go over the buildings, if you can still see the lines. Okay, now what colour am I missing? I would say I'm missing a red. You don't need all the colours, but it's quite nice to have a bit of a red. Try not to do, well, you could do quite a few colours, but try not to do too many, because sometimes it gets a bit messy. Right, now you're going to get your one finger and you're just going to smudge. What you might want to do is change fingers. So there I've done my purpley blues. So that's my dark colours, and then change the finger and I'm going to go on to my yellows and pinks. Or you could just wash your hands, really. I'm just wiping it on my apron because I don't want to get too messy. If you find that you're messy and you don't like it, just wash your hands, come back. As long as they're dry, then you'll be fine. And if you use one finger, it's just a bit neater. Okay, there's my colours. I really like those. I think what works best is the blue. I like the yellow, but I feel like there should be more on there. So I'm going to get a bit of orange. Have a look. I'm going to get a bit more orange actually. What's great about chalk is you can just keep sort of going over bits. I'm only using my whole hand, by the way, because mine's huge and I need to show you what to do. Okay, so that is literally my sky done. You could obviously do more, but I'm just going to do that for now, just to show you. And I'm going to take black paint. Now I've got to make it quite watery, so I'm putting it in my palette. Look on my palette. My palette's super messy, but all the paint's dry, so it's okay. So I'm going to get my brush that's in the water pot. It's quite a large brush, but you want a tiny brush to do the details. But my brush is full of water, and then I'm going to mix it. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to mix it with the paint, the black paint. So it's almost as though it's quite watery. I don't want it too watery because it will drip down the page. But what I'll do is I'll block in the big bits. So I'm going to get my black paint. All the big bit, oh, see, look, it just dripped. All the big bits. So you've got to take one bit at a time because you do not want to do it so it's not neat. It has to be neat around the edges. If you're unsure of what you're blocking in, just do a building at a time. So it's mostly the bottom bit is black, and it's only black because against the bright sky, because it's nighttime, it shows up as a silhouette. You know when you're standing in the sun and it's got a shadow? It's not quite that, but it reminds me of that or if you're standing behind the sun, next time you're in the playground or wherever you are, have a look, because your friend standing behind the sun will just be an outline and you'll just see it'll be so bright that you won't really see all the detail of their face or anything. So that's what we're trying to do, an outline. Okay, now I can't use my big brush for the other bits because it's not good enough, it's not detailed enough, and I'll make a mistake. So I'm going to get a smaller brush and I'm just going to go round the bits really carefully. So can you see I'm going round and then I'm blocking it in. So I'm just drawing round like that. And then I'm filling it in because that's the way you can get a really good line. Ooh. It's really tricky to do some of the bits, but it's worth it if you just take your time. The clock. It's going to look cool. might be nice if you don't fill it in. Could have a see-through building. I'm not going to do that for now. Okay, right. Ooh, I like that. Woo! Okay, right. It's drying quite quickly actually. I don't know if you can see, but you get a better line if I go round the outside. This is glass, so you probably would see some stuff on it, but we're not going to worry about that. Right, this is the bit that's super tricky, but it's going to look great if I don't let it drip. We want the London Eye, so start off with that bit, and it's got that big bit that goes down. I'm just going to stop it where that circle bit is, and then let's do the pods. The more detailed you are, the more amazing it looks. It's just it's tricky to do the detail and to breathe. I always hold my breath a little bit, which isn't ideal. You want to try and breathe. Right, this bit's going to be tricky. Like, you can't use felt tips over chalk, but what you could do is get a watercolour pencil and draw over the top, or just try and paint it. You want to hold the brush, so if it was flat on the table, you'd hold it straight up to the sky. So it'd be like this, and you'd only let the tip touch as you're drawing. So it would be just the tip of the brush. You don't want to press down. So you know you can press down loads like that. You want to press just a tiny bit. So I'm actually drawing it in. And if it's watery, it's a lot easier, your paint. Don't want it too watery, but if it's a bit watery, it's great. Okay, there's no going back now. Right. Oh my word. Okay, these bits. These bits might be chunky when you do them because they're hard to do, but I just think have a go. If something's really difficult to do, it's so nice to just give it a go, because you'll never get better at something. You'll never evolve and you'll never develop if you don't just give it a go. And you've got to start somewhere, so just give that a go. There we are. So that's pretty much what I want. I'd probably do something down here, maybe like just a line, just so it finishes it off. Could be like a building or something. It could just be that, couldn't it? Could just put a line there. Okay, and then what you can do, which was really nice, is you can do some birds. I like drawing birds all together, just flying together. Or you could do, I like the idea of, I don't know why I like the idea of that, but kind of spots, but then I also like the idea of adding some white as well. I'm just going to draw around here so you can see the circle, but you don't have to, you could cut this out. So when we get to here, ooh, I thought it would fall. Oh. Whoa. Right, when you get to there, obviously you're not going to have that because we're going to cut it out. So I might just draw a white pastel over it just so you see that it's not what you're going to end up with, because you are going to cut this circle out. Or if you did it with pencil, you can rub it out. Right, now I'm going to get, ooh, do you know what I could do? I like the idea actually. I could get a white chalk, and if I wanted to, I could just colour in a bit of the clock to make it a bit neater. And I could just, I've got to be super careful because you've got to let it dry. But I could just put some white around certain things because it makes it stand out. I mean, I don't need to be honest, but it's a bit wet, some of it. Yeah, it's not gonna show up some of it. Can you see? I think you can see, can't you? So I could just do buildings like that in the front. So I could draw over it. I don't know if I need to. I don't know if I need to be honest. But I like the idea that you can if you want. And then you could get white chalk or you could do white paint. I really like putting in dots. Putting dots. Couldn't say that. I really like putting dots. Now, once you've done some of the white, I mean, as I say, you don't need to put any white at all. But if you want to, then you're going to get one finger. It's got to be dry, remember, because if the paint is not dry, it will look a little bit smudgy and it won't show up. And it will smudge. Can you see I smudged there by accident? So whenever you add the white, just wait till it's a bit more dry, and then you can add the white. And then there we go. There is my London silhouette with an awesome sky. Sign your name as well. Like, I love signing my name. And whoa. Ta-da! And the sign at the bottom with chalk. And there we have it. Make sure as well that you can cut this out. I'm tempted to cut it out just so you can see what I mean. But I probably don't need to, do I? I just don't want you to see that. You don't need to see that because that will not be on here. Okay, there we are. Like, subscribe and share, and I shall see you soon. Bye.